3 true IKEA horror stories. Story 1. The Showroom Part 1. My name is Derek, and I was 26 years old when this happened. I worked as a night security guard at an IKEA in suburban Chicago, Illinois. It was a Tuesday night, 2:45 a.m., and I was doing my routine patrol through the showroom floor. The store had been closed for hours, and the only sounds were my footsteps and the hum of the emergency lighting. That is when I noticed something that made my blood freeze. One of the display beds, the ones set up in the fake bedrooms, had been slept in. The sheets were rumpled. The pillow had an indentation. And on the nightstand was a half-eaten apple that had not been there during my last patrol an hour ago. Someone was inside the store with me. Before I continue, hit that subscribe button and leave a comment below, because what I found hiding in that showroom still haunts me to this day. Part 2. I had been working security at that IKEA for about 8 months. It was one of the largest locations in the Midwest, over 400,000 square feet of retail space spread across 2 floors. The showroom alone was a maze of fake rooms, mock kitchens, model bedrooms, and living spaces designed to inspire customers to buy furniture they did not need. During the day, the store was packed with families, couples arguing about couch colors, and kids running through the ball pit in the children's section. But at night, when the lights dimmed and the customers went home, the place transformed into something else entirely. The showroom floor was designed to guide customers along a specific path winding through hundreds of display rooms before depositing them in the marketplace and warehouse sections. During the day, this layout was clever marketing. At night, it was disorienting. Every fake living room looked the same in the dim emergency lighting. Every model bedroom could hide a dozen secrets in its shadows. My job was simple. Walk the floor every hour, check the exits, make sure no one had hidden inside after closing. It happened more often than you might think. Teenagers trying to spend the night on a dare. Homeless people looking for a warm place to sleep. Shoplifters waiting for the store to empty before making their move. Most of the time, I found them easily. They would fall asleep in the beds, or I would hear them moving in the warehouse. A quick call to the police, and they were escorted out without incident. But that Tuesday night was different. Part 3. I first noticed something was wrong around 1:30 a.m. I was walking through the kitchen section, checking the display appliances and making sure all the cabinet doors were closed, when I heard a sound. A soft thump, like something being set down on a hard surface. I stopped and listened. Silence. I continued my patrol, but I was more alert now. The store had a way of playing tricks on you at night. The ventilation system made strange noises. Products sometimes shifted on shelves. But that thump had sounded deliberate. I made my way to the bedroom section, my flashlight cutting through the dim emergency lighting. The display rooms stretched out before me, each one a perfect snapshot of domestic life. A teenager's bedroom with band posters on the wall. A master suite with a king-sized bed and matching nightstands. A child's room with bunk beds and stuffed animals. I checked each one methodically, looking under beds, inside wardrobes, behind curtains. Everything seemed normal until I reached the Malm bedroom display. The bed had been slept in. Part 4. I stood at the edge of the display room, staring at the rumpled sheets. The bed had been perfectly made during my last patrol. I was certain of it. Part of my job was checking that the displays looked presentable, and I had specifically noted that this bed was made. Now the comforter was pulled back, the pillow was dented, and the sheets were wrinkled like someone had been lying there recently. And on the nightstand was a half-eaten apple. The flesh was still white, not yet turned brown. It had been bitten into within the last few minutes. Someone was in the store with me, and they had been in this bed while I was patrolling other sections. I keyed my radio. "Control, this is Derek. I have evidence of an intruder in the showroom, requesting backup." Static. Then a voice. "Copy that, Derek. Backup is 20 minutes out. Maintain visual, but do not engage." 20 minutes. A lot could happen in 20 minutes. I pulled out my flashlight and scanned the surrounding displays. The fake rooms stretched out in every direction, each one full of shadows and hiding spots. Then I heard it. Footsteps. Running footsteps somewhere ahead of me in the maze of showrooms. Part 5. I followed the sound moving quickly through the display rooms. The footsteps were getting further away, heading toward the warehouse section. I emerged from the showroom into the marketplace. The open floor plan filled with rows of smaller items. Candles, picture frames, kitchen gadgets. The footsteps had stopped, but I could hear breathing somewhere nearby. Heavy, ragged breathing. "I know you are in here," I called out. "The police are on their way. Come out now, and this does not have to be a problem." Silence. I moved through the aisles, checking behind displays, looking under tables. The breathing had stopped. Either they were holding their breath, or they had moved. Then I saw it. A door at the back of the marketplace, one that led to the warehouse. It was supposed to be locked at all times during closed hours. It was open. I approached, carefully pushing the door wider with my flashlight. The warehouse stretched out before me. Massive metal shelving units reaching toward the ceiling, stacked with flat pack furniture in cardboard boxes. The space was easily 5 stories tall, with narrow aisles that disappeared into darkness. And somewhere in that darkness, I could hear movement. Part 6. The warehouse was a labyrinth. Row after row of identical shelving stretching into the distance, packed with boxes labelled in Swedish. The emergency lighting was dimmer here, casting long shadows between the aisles. I moved slowly, my flashlight sweeping left and right. The shelving units loomed over me like canyon walls, blocking my view and creating countless hiding spots. I heard a sound above me and looked up. Someone was on the upper level of the shelving. I could see a figure moving along the narrow maintenance walkway that ran between the shelves 20 feet above the ground. "Stop!" I shouted. "Come down now!" The figure froze. For a moment, we just stared at each other across the darkness. Then it spoke. "You should not have followed me, Derek." The voice was male, raspy, and it knew my name. I looked down at my uniform. My name tag was visible on my chest, reflecting my flashlight beam. "Come down," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "The police are almost here." The figure laughed. It was a hollow, unpleasant sound. "They will not find me. No one ever finds me. I have been living here for 3 months. I know every inch of this place." 3 months. He had been living in this store for 3 months, and none of us had known. Part 7. He started moving again, walking along the maintenance catwalk toward a ladder at the far end. I ran trying to intercept him, but the aisles were narrow and cluttered with pallets of merchandise. By the time I reached the ladder, he was already climbing down. He dropped the last few feet and landed in front of me. He was thinner than I expected, gaunt, almost with a scraggly beard and wild eyes. His clothes were dirty and torn, and he smelled like he had not showered in weeks. And in his hand was a box cutter, the blade extended. "I do not want to hurt you," he said. "I just want to be left alone. I have a good thing going here. Food from the restaurant beds in the showroom bathrooms that work. Why would I give that up? Because you are trespassing, because this is not your home." He smiled, showing yellowed teeth. "It is my home now. I know every hiding spot, every blind spot in the cameras, every schedule the guards follow. I have watched you, Derek, every night for 3 months. I know your patrol route better than you do." He took a step toward me, the box cutter glinting in the dim light. "So here is what is going to happen. You are going to let me walk out of here. You are going to tell the police you did not find anyone. And tomorrow night, I will be back." I took a step backward. "And if I do not?" His smile disappeared. "Then I will do what I have to do." Part 8. I heard sirens in the distance. Backup was arriving. The man heard them too. His eyes darted toward the loading dock doors at the back of the warehouse. "Last chance," he said. "Let me go or things get messy." I made a decision. I stepped aside, clearing the path to the loading dock. He walked past me, slowly, never taking his eyes off me, the box cutter still raised. At the loading dock door, he paused. "I will be back, Derek. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe not next week. But I will be back. And next time, you will not see me coming." He pushed open the door and disappeared into the night. The police searched the surrounding area, but did not find him. They did find his camp, though hidden in a crawl space above the warehouse ceiling. A sleeping bag, canned food, stolen from the restaurant bottles of water, and a collection of items that made everyone's blood run cold. Photographs. Dozens of photographs of employees taken from hiding spots throughout the store. Photos of us working, eating lunch in the break room, walking to our cars after our shifts, and a notebook filled with names, schedules, home addresses. My name was on every other page. His name was Carl Eugene Webb, 47 years old, with a history of stalking and assault charges across 3 states. He had been released from prison 5 months before he started living in our IKEA. They caught him 2 weeks later trying to break into a different IKEA in Indiana. I quit my job the day after they found the photographs. I couldn't walk through that showroom anymore, knowing that every shadow might hide someone watching. I work in an office now. 9 to 5, bright lights, lots of people. I never work alone and I never stay late. But sometimes, when I am shopping in a store with dim lighting and shadowy corners, I think about Carl Webb. I think about his promise to come back, and I wonder if he ever did. Story 2. The Maze Part 1. My name is Victor, and I was 32 years old when this happened. I'd taken my 6-year-old daughter Sophia to an IKEA in Houston, Texas on a Saturday afternoon. The store was packed with families, and we were walking through the showroom looking at beds for her new room. It was around 3:15 p.m. when I first noticed the man. He was maybe 50 feet behind us, looking at a lamp display. Nothing unusual about that. But every time we moved to a new section, he appeared again. following the same path we were taking through the maze of the showroom, following us. If you have children, you need to hear this story. Subscribe now before I continue, because what that man was planning still keeps me up at night. Part 2. It was supposed to be a fun father-daughter outing. My wife was at home with our newborn, and I wanted to give Sophia some special attention. She was excited about getting a big girl bed, and she'd been talking about the trip all week. The IKEA was the usual chaos of a Saturday afternoon. Families everywhere, kids running through the displays, couples arguing over fabric swatches. The showroom was packed, which I thought would make us safer. More witnesses, more people around. I was wrong. We started in the living room section, then moved through the kitchens and dining areas. Sophia was skipping ahead of me, touching every pillow and blanket she saw. I let her explore, keeping one eye on her and one eye on the path ahead. That is, when I first noticed him. He was standing near a bookshelf display, maybe 50 feet behind us. Middle-aged, with grey hair, and a bland face that would not stand out in a crowd. He was looking at the shelf, but his eyes kept flicking toward us, towards Sophia. I told myself I was being paranoid. IKEA was designed to funnel everyone through the same path. Of course, we would see the same people multiple times. We moved into the bedroom section. Sophia was excited now, bouncing from bed to bed, testing each one. I helped her onto a bunk bed display, letting her pretend she was in a treehouse. When I looked up, the man was there again, closer this time, maybe 30 feet away, looking at a wardrobe, still watching us. Part 3. I started paying closer attention. Every time we moved, he moved. When we stopped at a display, he would linger nearby, pretending to examine merchandise. He never looked directly at us, but I could feel his attention. We reached the children's section, and Sophia immediately ran for the play area, a small space with toys and a ball pit designed to keep kids entertained while parents shopped. I let her play while I stood by the entrance, keeping one eye on her and one eye on the crowd. The man appeared at the edge of my vision. He was standing near a display of children's furniture about 40 feet away. And this time, he was not looking at the merchandise. He was looking at Sophia. His expression was calm, attentive focus, the way you might look at something you wanted to buy. I felt a chill run down my spine. I walked to the play area and took Sophia's hand. "We need to go, sweetie." "But Daddy, I want to play more." "We will come back another time. Right now, we need to leave." She pouted, but let me lead her away. I glanced back. The man was following us. Part 4. I walked faster, pulling Sophia through the maze of the showroom. The path was convoluted, designed to maximize the time customers spent in the store, and I could not find a shortcut to the exit. Every time I looked back, he was there. Maintaining the same distance, not getting closer, not falling behind, just following. I stopped at an intersection between displays and pulled out my phone. "What is wrong, Daddy?" "Nothing, sweetheart. I just need to make a call." I dialed store security. The line rang 3 times before someone picked up. IKEA security. How can I help you? My name is Victor. I am in the showroom with my daughter. There's a man following us. He's been behind us for the last 20 minutes. Can you describe him? I gave her the description. Grey hair, bland face, dark jacket jeans. Where are you now? I looked around for a landmark. Near the Hemnes bedroom display, the white one with the blue bedding. Stay there. I am sending someone to you. I hung up and waited, keeping Sophia close to me. The man had stopped about 50 feet away near a bathroom display. He was not even pretending to shop anymore. He was just standing there watching us. 5 minutes passed, then 10. No one came. I called security again. I called 10 minutes ago. Someone was supposed to come. I am sorry, sir. We are short-staffed today. Someone is on their way. I looked at the man. He had moved closer. 30 feet now. I could not wait any longer. Part 5. I picked Sophia up and started walking as fast as I could toward the exit. Daddy, you are scaring me. I know, baby. I'm sorry. We just need to get out of here. The showroom path twisted and turned, leading us past fake rooms and display after display. Every corner could be hiding an ambush. Every aisle was a potential trap. I heard footsteps behind us. Faster now. He was no longer maintaining his distance. I started to run. Sophia clung to my neck as I sprinted through the showroom, knocking into displays, bumping past other shoppers. People stared at me like I was crazy, but I did not care. The exit sign appeared ahead, the bright light of the marketplace beyond the showroom. I burst through the transition zone and into the open space of the self-serve furniture area. The exit was visible now, maybe 100 yards away. I slowed down, breathing hard, and looked behind me. He was gone. I scanned the area, looking for any sign of him. Rows of flat-pack furniture stretched out around me, but I could not see the grey-haired man anywhere. Maybe I had lost him. Maybe he had given up. I turned back toward the exit, and he was standing right in front of me. Part 6. I stumbled backward, nearly dropping Sophia. He had somehow gotten ahead of us. He must have known a shortcut. Through the showroom, a path that bypassed the main route. "Beautiful daughter you have," he said. His voice was soft, almost pleasant. "Stay away from us." I just wanted to say hello. She reminds me of someone I used to know. I backed up, keeping Sophia behind me. "I am calling the police." "There is no need for that. I have not done anything wrong," he smiled. "Yet." He took a step forward. I looked around desperately. We were in a relatively open area, but there were no employees nearby, no other customers close enough to help. Then I heard a voice. "Sir, is there a problem here?" A security guard had finally arrived. A young man, maybe 25, with a uniform that looked too big for him. The grey-haired man's expression did not change. He glanced at the guard, then back at me. No problem at all. I was just leaving. He turned and walked away, disappearing into the warehouse section. The guard approached me. "Are you okay? We got a call about someone following you." That was him. He's been following us for 20 minutes. He was watching my daughter. The guard's face grew serious. "Can you describe him again? I will alert the rest of the team." I gave him the description, but I knew it was too late. The man had vanished into the maze of the store. Part 7. We went to the security office and gave a full report. They pulled the camera footage and found him on multiple feeds, following us through the showroom exactly as I had described. They also found something else. The footage showed him in the store for over 3 hours before we arrived. He was not shopping. He was watching families with young children. He would follow them for a while, then move on to another family, testing, choosing, until he found us. The police were called. They reviewed the footage and ran his face through their database. His name was Gerald Wayne Dixon, 51 years old, registered sex offender with convictions in 2 states. He was not supposed to be within 500 feet of any place where children gather, and he'd been in that IKEA all day hunting. They caught him in the parking lot sitting in his car watching the exit. The police said he had a kit in his trunk. Duct tape zip ties a blanket. The kind of items you do not want to think about. Gerald Dixon was arrested and charged with violating his registry requirements and stalking a minor. He is currently awaiting trial. Part 8. The police told me I did the right thing by trusting my instincts. If I had ignored the feeling that something was wrong, if I had convinced myself I was being paranoid, things could have ended very differently. Sophia does not remember much about that day. She knows we left the store quickly, and she knows Daddy was upset. But she does not know why. I never told her. I never want her to know how close she came. But I think about it constantly. I replay that day in my mind, looking for the moments where things could have gone wrong. What if I had let Sophia keep playing in the ball pit? What if I had been distracted by my phone? What if the security guard had arrived a few minutes later? I do not take Sophia to stores alone anymore. When we go out as a family, my wife and I stay together. One of us always watching the kids. I know every exit, every security station, every potential hiding spot. Some people think I am overprotective, paranoid, but I know what I saw in Gerald Dixon's eyes when he looked at my daughter. I know what was in his trunk, and I know that there are others like him out there, watching, waiting, looking for the moment when a parent's attention slips. If you have children, please pay attention. Trust your instincts. If someone makes you uncomfortable, do not ignore that feeling. Get your kids and get out. Because predators do not look like monsters. They look like ordinary people, and they are counting on you to look away. Story 3. The Warehouse Part 1. My name is Andre, and I was 28 years old when this happened. I worked in the warehouse section of an IKEA in suburban Atlanta, Georgia. My job was pulling orders for online customers, navigating the massive shelving units, and locating flat pack furniture for delivery. It was a Monday night, 9:30 p.m., and I was working overtime to clear a backlog of orders. Most of the other workers had gone home, and I was alone in a section of the warehouse that felt like a concrete canyon. That is when I found the camera. It was hidden behind a stack of boxes on one of the upper shelves, pointed down at the employee break room. Someone had been watching us. Before I continue, hit that subscribe button and leave a comment below. Because what I discovered that night exposed something far worse than I could have imagined. Part 2. The IKEA warehouse was massive. 5 stories of metal shelving stacked floor to ceiling with flat pack furniture in cardboard boxes. The aisles were narrow, barely wide enough for a forklift, and they stretched into the distance like the halls of some industrial prison. During business hours, the warehouse was busy. Forklifts moving constantly, workers pulling orders, the rumble of conveyor belts and pallet jacks. But at night, when the store closed and most of the staff went home, the warehouse became something else. A silent, echoing space where every footstep bounced off the concrete walls. I had been working at the IKEA for about 2 years. The pay was decent, and I liked the physical nature of the job. Walking miles every day, climbing ladders, operating equipment. It kept me in shape. That Monday, we had a backlog of online orders that needed to be pulled before the delivery trucks arrived in the morning. My supervisor asked for volunteers to work overtime, and I raised my hand. I needed the extra money. By 9 p.m., I was the only person left in my section of the warehouse. The other overtime workers were on the opposite side, near the loading docks. I was alone among the towering shelves, working through my list of orders. I was climbing a ladder to reach a box on the 4th level when I saw something that did not belong. There was a small black object wedged behind a stack of boxes, partially hidden from view. At first, I thought it was a piece of trash, maybe a phone case someone had dropped. I reached for it. It was a camera. Part 3. I pulled it out carefully, turning it over in my hands. It was a small wireless camera, the kind you could buy at any electronics store. It had a tiny lens on one side and a battery pack on the other. A small red light indicated that it was recording. I looked at the angle where it had been positioned. It was pointed directly at the employee break room, visible through a gap in the shelving below. Someone had set up a hidden camera to watch the break room. I felt sick. I climbed down the ladder and walked toward the break room, keeping the camera in my hand. The room was empty now, but during business hours, it was where employees ate lunch, checked their phones, and took breaks. Where people let their guard down. I thought about the female employees who used that room. The locker area was visible from where the camera had been pointed. People changed clothes there, checked their appearance in the mirror. Someone had been watching them. I pulled out my phone and called my supervisor. I found something in the warehouse, a hidden camera. Someone has been recording the break room. There was a long pause on the other end. Stay where you are. I am calling security and the police. Part 4. The police arrived 45 minutes later. They cordoned off the area and took the camera as evidence. A detective interviewed me, while forensic technicians searched for more devices. How long have you been working here? 2 years. Have you noticed anyone acting suspiciously? Anyone who seemed to have access to areas they should not? I thought about it. The warehouse was a busy place. Dozens of people had access during business hours. Maintenance workers, supervisors, even vendors who came to check equipment. No one in particular, I said. But I am not back here all the time. The detective nodded grimly. They found 2 more cameras that night. One in the women's restroom, hidden behind a ceiling tile. One in the employee locker room positioned to capture the changing area. Someone had been recording our co-workers for months. Part 5. Investigation expanded rapidly. The police analyzed the cameras and traced them to a batch purchased online with a prepaid credit card. Dead end. But the cameras had memory cards, and those memory cards had recordings. Hours and hours of footage dating back 6 months. The police would not tell us what was on the recordings, but the detective's face told me enough. It was bad. Meanwhile, the store conducted its own investigation. They reviewed security footage, looking for anyone who might have had access to the areas where the cameras were found. And they found him. On the footage from 3 months earlier, a figure could be seen climbing the warehouse shelving late at night, long after the store had closed. The person was wearing dark clothes and had a ski mask covering their face. But the build, the movement, the way they navigated the shelves. It was someone who knew the warehouse. Someone who worked here. Part 6. The police narrowed down the list of suspects based on who had access to the building after hours. Security guards, overnight maintenance staff, supervisors with keys. They ran background checks on everyone, and they found him. His name was Ronald Gene Pittman, 43 years old. He worked on the overnight maintenance crew responsible for cleaning and repairs after the store closed. He had keys to every area of the building. When they searched his home, they found more than just evidence of the cameras. They found his computer filled with the footage he had been recording. Thousands of files organized by date and location. And they found other things. Images that had nothing to do with our store. Images that made the detective close his eyes and take a deep breath before continuing to tell me what they had discovered. Ronald Pittman was not just a voyeur. He was part of a network, trading recordings with people across the country, selling access to his live feeds to subscribers who paid monthly fees. Our co-workers had been turned into content without their knowledge or consent. Part 7. The fallout was immediate and devastating. Dozens of employees were identified in the recordings. Women who had changed clothes in the locker room. People who had used the restroom without knowing a camera was watching. Conversations that were never meant to be heard. Some of them quit immediately. Others filed lawsuits against the company. A few needed counseling to deal with the violation. Ronald Pittman was arrested and charged with multiple counts of voyeurism, invasion of privacy, and distribution of intimate images. The police said his network included at least 15 other people across 7 states, all of them recording and trading footage from their workplaces. It was an organized operation. They targeted retail locations, gyms, hotels, places where people felt safe, places where cameras could be hidden without detection. Our IKEA was just one node in a web of violation that stretched across the country. Part 8. Ronald Pittman was convicted and sentenced to 12 years in federal prison. Several members of his network were also arrested, though the police admitted that they probably had not caught everyone. The company implemented new security measures, regular sweeps for hidden devices, restricted access to maintenance areas, background checks for all employees with after-hours access. But none of that could undo what had already been done. I quit my job 3 months after the discovery. I could not walk through that warehouse anymore without looking at every shelf, every corner, wondering if something was watching me. I work construction now. Outdoor jobs, open spaces, nothing hidden. I like being able to see everything around me. But I still think about those cameras, about how long they were there before anyone noticed, about how many times I walked past them without knowing. And I think about the recordings that are still out there, uploaded to servers, shared on websites, seen by strangers. Some of my former co-workers will spend the rest of their lives knowing that images of them exist somewhere being viewed by people they will never meet. The scariest part is how normal Ronald Pittman seemed. He had worked at the store for 5 years. He said hello to people in the hallways. He ate lunch in the break room like everyone else. And the whole time he was watching. If you work in a building with employees-only areas, please take a moment to look around. Check the corners, the shelves, the ceiling tiles. Look for anything that does not belong. Because you never know who might be watching. And you never know what they might be doing with what they see.